So if you ask an aspiring freight broker, why do you want to become a freight broker? What is it about the freight broker business that attracts your attention? You're usually going to get some variation of, I've looked into the space, I know that my skill set marries perfectly what a freight broker does on a day in and day out basis. I see that it's a very lucrative opportunity. I want to build a legacy within the freight broker business. And that's a great ambition to have. That's a great way of thinking. But what I want you to know today is that it's simply not enough. You must also have a plan in place in order to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. And when you have a plan, then you have a system of helping you to navigate your way to where it is that you want to go. But even those that have plans, what I've seen is 95% of freight brokers that are in year 0 to year 5 are missing two critical components of the plan. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, what those components are and what you need to do in order to get those added to your business so that you will be on your way to achieving your goal of building that legacy regardless, even if something catastrophic happens. So stay tuned. Now, when we're designing a game plan, the strategy, our offense and our defensive strategy to build a legacy that we are interested in building, usually we focus more attention on the offense. And that should be in the beginning. I get that. We got to get the TMS systems in place, the load boards in place. We got to get the things in place that are necessary in order for us to start moving the business forward. Those things have to be in place first. I get that. But what's also important is setting up your defense. And what we don't do in a lot of cases is have a defensive game plan. We don't even really understand what it means to have a defensive game plan because we think in our minds, hey, there's nothing that's going to stop me from achieving my goal. Great space to be in. Great way of thinking. There's nothing going to stop you. But there is one thing that can stop every one of us from achieving our goal. So if that is the case, and it is, we have to plan for that. So let's talk about two defensive strategies that we can put in place to ensure that we win and build the legacy that we're interested in building. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about two simple things. And most of you are going to say, hey, Brandon, I've already heard about that, or I already know about that. And my response to that is, do you really? Do you really already know about that? Because to know and to not do is really not to know. So if you know that something is good for you, then you take action and you do that, what is good for you, or you don't really know, in my opinion. So one thing that we know is we know that we are going to die. We know that at some point, we don't know when, but our life will expire. Life as we know it here on this planet will come to an end. Now, you can have that as an excuse and you can say, or your family members could say in your absence, they can say, hey, you know what? Brandon was working really hard. And if had he lived, he definitely would have left the legacy that he wanted to leave. Or they could say, you know what? Brandon did what he said he was going to do. And he did leave that legacy, even though he passed on. And how do we do that? How do we go about doing that, ensuring that that happens, even when we're not here? Well, it's very simple. It's called life insurance. Getting life insurance, in my opinion, is absolutely mandatory for you, your business, and your family. Because we know that at some point, things are going to get interrupted. Our life could come to an end. So we want to have some measures in place so that if we haven't reached that point that we want to reach, then we have something here as a subsidy, so to speak. Something that will supplement our income and be able to give our loved ones something in our absence. Now, in my case, I decided to get a $1 million insurance policy because I wanted my family taken care of in my absence. And I wanted to be able to leave a legacy. I was very serious about leaving a legacy. Now, I know I'm not saying that just leaving $1 million is leaving a legacy, but it's certainly a part of leaving a legacy. Money, in my opinion, is certainly a part of leaving legacy. Assets. Now, of course, it's always important what we leave in our loved ones, not necessarily what we leave them, but that's important to me as well. But there should be a balance there. I want to leave some good things in them so that they'll be able to handle the legacy that I'm leaving for them to carry on. Not getting life insurance is basically being unwilling to confront the reality of your own mortality. And I get it. It was just last year that I got life insurance. But I understand how critically important it is. That's why I'm sharing this information with you. Don't sleep on life insurance. If you're serious about leaving a legacy, then it starts with a plan just in case you're not around. Because you don't want your family members using that excuse, oh, Brandon didn't make it, so the legacy died. Nah, I want to make sure that whether I'm here or not, my family is taken care of and I can still leave the legacy that I'm interested in leaving. And you can do the same, and it starts with an insurance policy. Because let's just think about it. You can either prepare for your death or you can not prepare. Either way, there's consequences. Now, you have to decide which consequences you want to live with. I think it would be much better to live with the consequences of being prepared for the inevitable. We know that it's coming. So go ahead and put things in place so that you can rest easy and really rest in peace. When people say RIP, R-I-P, what does that mean? Resting in peace. Resting in peace knowing that my family is taken care of. I've done some things that I enjoyed doing while I was here. My time has ended. And now I want to make sure that people that are behind me start out better than I started. And that's what it's all about to me. So that starts with insurance. Now, what type of insurance do you need and how much do you need? That's going to depend on your specific situation. In my case, I got $1 million insurance. It cost me $97 a month, and it's through a company called Zander Insurance. Dave Ramsey recommended the insurance company. Now, with that said, you have to determine what's a good amount for you. So you look at your current situation, look at your family situation, what you want to do, what you currently have, and then you can decide how much insurance you need. I have a term policy. It's for 20 years. After that 20 years comes, then I don't have insurance anymore. I got to go through that process again if I want additional insurance. But that's not my reason for having insurance for that period of time. My reason for having insurance for a 20-year period of time is to give me time to build the legacy that I want to build. So once I build a legacy, then I don't need insurance. The legacy will already be built and it would take place of the insurance. The insurance is just a buffer. The insurance is just in case you don't make it to see your legacy through. So last but not least, we're going to talk about the will. If you have a life insurance policy but you don't have a will, then that's not going to do you a whole lot of good because there's nobody to speak for you after you have already died. Now, once you have died, you have a will in place. Your will speaks for you. Your will was going to make sure that things end up like you intended. Being a responsible person in life is also being a responsible person in death. Because life goes on. Even after my demise, my family has to live. Those that have come after me still have to move on with their lives. And I want to make it so that they can move on with clear instruction. We don't leave any rocks unturned. And that there's no confusion, because we know that people can argue and fight over pennies. So if you leave something, they're going to argue and fight over it. So we want to make sure that things are clear, that it's understood, there's no confusion, so that everybody can move on and continue on with their lives without having a whole lot of rigmarole, if you will. What a will is also going to do is give you an idea of what you've really accumulated while you've been here on this planet. You're going to be able to look at it and say, man, these are the things that I have. These are the things that I'm able to leave. It'll also show you that, hey, man, I got a long way to go. I still got a long way to go. And that's okay. But it gives you a clear picture of where you are right now. And then you can decide, hey, based on where you are right now, this is the direction that I want to go. This is what I'm going to do in order to get there. But the will really clarifies the picture, helps you to be able to see what you really have. So before we go, I want to give you a quick reminder that I have a huge goal of reaching 100,000 subscribers. Got a long way to go, but I need your help. Each time one person subscribes, it gets me one step closer to achieving that 100,000 subscribers. So I certainly would appreciate your help. Thank you in advance. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope this has been helpful. If you're interested in learning more about the freight broker business, go to my website at www.brandonthefreightbroker.com, wait for the pop-up to appear, and then register for my free 5-video series called How the Load Movement Process Works. You'll get to watch over my shoulders. I set up loads to be moved, talk to shippers and carriers about the load movement, show you all of the paperwork that moves the load from point A to point B, and then execute the load movement and get paid. So you hear a lot of people out here talking about how freight brokers move loads and make money. But there's one guy who's walking the walk, talking the talk, and showing you how it's done. That's me. See you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.